What up, Bucs fans, NFL fans, and gambling fans? Welcome to Pewter Picks and Props, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers edition of Pewter Picks and Props. We'll get into some NFL, we'll get into some Bucs games and Bucs player props. I am your host, Matt Matera, and Pewter Picks and Props is brought to you by Splash Sports. Join over 2.5 million people playing on Splash Sports, the home for Survivor, Pick'em, and QuickPicks. Whether you want to create your own contest with friends or take a shot at life-changing money and prize pools, Splash Sports has you covered. They have a weekend kickoff boost going on right now, all weekend long, where you can boost your quick picks and their entries this entire weekend. Time to make your picks for all of the football action, especially Sunday's NFL slate, which includes the Bucs. Turn $20 into $1,000 with the best multipliers in daily fantasy sports over at Splash Sports. Download the app today. You can use the QR code on the screen right there. It is time to talk about the Bucs. Tough loss last week for Tampa Bay, but they are 3-1 on the season, a little bit banged up. They have a crazy, tough, fun matchup against the Seattle Seahawks coming up on Sunday. And it's going to be aesthetically pleasing because the Bucs and the Seahawks are each celebrating 50 years of their organizations. Both have had some success winning Super Bowls. The Bucs will be rocking their 1976 throwback uniforms that has the Bucko Bruce helmet on it as well. Seahawks will be rocking their light blue with the gray helmet. So super fun right then and there. And if you couldn't tell in my voice, I'm fired up every week. I'm extra fired up this week. I am psyched. I'm thrilled to get into these week's picks. Why? Because I love winning you guys money. I appreciate each and every one of you that watch this show week in and week out. And if you tailed me last week, you won a lot of money. Because I was absolutely perfect when coming to picking the Bucs spread, the over-under, every single Bucs player prop, every single Eagles player prop, and the Pewter Parlay, a plus 700. It was a perfect game. I'm sorry the Bucs didn't win. I apologize, but I picked the Eagles minus 3.5, and that hit. I picked over on certain Baker stats. A Mecca Buka touchdown. They all hit. They were all perfect. The only thing I missed a little bit was some NFL picks, but most of you are here to see the Bucs. So this is my record going into week 5. I am undefeated when picking the spread in each Bucs game and the over-under in each Bucs game. 8-0. There's a spread and over-under in each game. 4 times 2 is 8. 8-0. I'm 12-7 on Bucs player props. 19-10 on prop bets as well. That includes the opponent that the Bucs are playing as well if I pick props in that game. And then NFL game picks, 16-9 as well. So winners across the board. And I plan on doing it again for this Sunday in Bucs versus Seahawks. Let's get into the picks, folks. And I think you'll be happier with me this time around when looking at Bucs Seahawks. And that is because I have the Bucs covering plus 3.5 at Seattle. But I also have the under of 44.5 in this game. My thought process behind it is that it is going to be another defensive battle in this matchup. The Seattle Seahawks, they can really bring it defensively. The most points that they've allowed this season was 20, and that was on Thursday Night Football, so a little bit less time to prepare. The Bucs, I know they have some injuries. Jamel Dean, rocking that 1976 throwback, he's not going to be playing in this game. There won't be Benjamin Morrison either, the very talented corner. He's not going to be playing either. So you're thinking, how the heck are the Bucs going to get it done? Don't you worry, folks. They still have Zion McCollum playing at corner, And Jacob Parrish, the very talented third-round pick, Jacob Parrish, he will be playing on the outside in this game. Why? Because the Seahawks like to play a lot more of 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. So that means you're going to have more beef along the defensive line. Vita Vea certainly will help out and get it done. You'll see a lot more of Elijah Simmons, who just came onto the team a couple of weeks ago. Elijah Roberts has done a good job. And the Bucs are going to need to lean on their defense a little bit more in this game because of some of the injuries that they have on the offensive side. Vita Vea has been tremendous, fantastic for this team. And the Bucs overall, whether it's Vea, whether it's Elijah Simmons as well, who I think is going to be a big factor in this game, they stop the run. That is what they are here to do, and they do it in droves. Defensive coordinator Larry Foote said a couple of weeks ago, I don't care who you are not running the football against us. And because of that, they're going to take it away from Kenneth Walker, from Zach Charbonnet. Seattle's not going to be able to move the ball the way that they want to. The Bucs will make them one-dimensional. At the same time, Tampa Bay will be without Bucky Irving. That's going to hurt a little bit. You still don't have Mike Evans. This will be the second game where you do have Tristan Wirfs, which helps, but it's the second game of the offensive line trying to truly get it together. With all of that said, I think the Bucs are pissed with how they lost last game. They're better than that, and I think they take what they did in the second half against the Eagles and put that for a full 4 quarters against the Seattle Seahawks. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a lot of defensive plays. But when there's a will, there's a way for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. All they know how to do is play close and tight games. But Baker Mayfield knows how to get the job done in crunch time. I'm predicting the Bucs win 20-17. So they are an underdog in this game. I'll take the points plus 3.5. I'm a big fan of the under as well of 44.5. Moving along to my Bucs player props. Going to start out with Cade Otton under 20.5 receiving yards. And I need to apologize to Cade Otton because it's a homecoming for him. He played at the University of Washington. It's also a homecoming for Vita Vea and Greg Gaines and Devin Culp. Emeka Egbuka did not play in Washington, but he's from the Washington area. So there's a lot of Washington guys that it means a lot to them. Cade Otton's just been a non-factor in the offense in terms of getting targets to him. Hey, he had 3 catches last week. It went for 9 yards. Until I see the Bucs target the tight end position more, which isn't going to happen while Charlie Heck is in the game at right tackle for this team, I don't see how Cade Otton is involved. He's here to help block right now, and he's doing a good job, but 20.5 receiving yards, he hasn't even sniffed that at all this season. So Cade Otton under 20.5 receiving yards. Next is Jackson Smith-Njigba under 82.5 receiving yards. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have done a fantastic job limiting the top players on their opponents. I know Garrett Wilson had a pretty good game against the Bucs when the Jets came to Tampa, but he got targeted over double-digit times. They shut down A.J. Brown a week ago. They did a good job against Drake London. So a lot's going to be put on the shoulders of Zion McCollum, but like I said before, Jacob Parrish moving to the outside is key for the Bucs in this game. They have kept everything in front of them. They have not allowed the big play down the field. I don't think that's going to change without Jamel Dean or Benjamin Morrison in this game. I have a lot of belief in Jacob Parrish, and of course, Zion's been doing his thing. So Jackson Smith-Njigba will be held under wraps in this game. If you saw the thumbnail for this week, you see at the bottom there, it says Chris Godwin Jr. breaks out. I fully believe more than anything else in this game that Chris Godwin Jr. is going to have a major impact for the Bucs in this game against the Seahawks. Last week was all about knocking the rust off for Chris Godwin Jr. It was the first time he was playing professional football in a regular season game in 11 months. And they did not have him on a pitch count. That is huge for the Bucs moving forward. He played more of an average snap count than Mike Evans has this season when Mike's been good to go. Baker Mayfield targeted him. Yes, Chris Godwin had some drops. He didn't create a ton of space, but now you have an extra motivated Chris Godwin who went through a whole week of practice knowing that he's fine, he's good to go, he's taken some hits. A motivated Chris Godwin, chip on his shoulder. You'd love him to be a vintage Chris Godwin Jr., but he doesn't have to still be a focal point in this offense. The Seahawks are going to give so much attention to Emeka Egbuka, and understandably so. I believe this is the game where Chris Godwin Jr. truly breaks out and puts his stamp on why he's one of the best wide receivers in football. So I'm a huge fan of Chris Godwin Jr. over 53.5 receiving yards. I'm going under with Baker Mayfield and his passing yards, though. His passing yards, while they hit the over last week, and I'm grateful for it because it helped with the prop bets, a majority of his passing yards came on the scramble play deep shot to Emeka Egbuka and the scramble play deep shot to Bucky Irving, which was fantastic. But that's over 140 passing yards right there on improv type of plays. I just don't see Baker Mayfield taking those shots against a Seahawks team that has 7 interceptions on the season. It's a lot more underneath stuff. And of course, with this loud crowd, a lot of silent counts and silent snaps and all of that stuff, the Bucs are going to want to establish the ground game. So don't have a full, big passing game for Baker Mayfield. But again, he's a leader of this team and will help get the job done. On the flip side of it, I do see a pretty good passing game for Sam Darnold, sans what's going on with Jackson Smith and Jigba. Sam Darnold has had most of his success throwing over the middle. And factoring in that the Bucs will be able to stop the run, they're going to slow down Seattle's running game, it forces Sam Darnold to become one-dimensional. Can he take advantage of the play of the linebackers? Probably. So there'll be some tight ends involved. I think Cooper Kupp will be involved. He's kind of had the Bucs number for a couple of years. But factor all of that in, making one-dimensional will be good for the Bucs overall, but it'll help with the stats of Sam Darnold. So that's why I have him over on his passing yards. This is the Rachaad White game, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be huge for Rachaad White as he becomes RB1 in this game without Bucky Irving playing in it. And as we've seen with Josh Grizzard as the offensive coordinator of this team, he will continue to try to establish the run as much as possible. Bucky Irving had been getting the boatload of rushing attempts. So overall, Rachaad White is fresh. He has had some opportunities. He's been effective when in the game. Now he's going to get his biggest opportunity. Sean Tucker will be sprinkled in as well, but I believe they're going to rely heavily on Rachaad White. Now, the Seahawks do have a very, very good run-stopping defense, but with the amount of volume that Rachaad White is going to get in this game, 49.5 isn't a ton to overcome. If he's getting 15 rushing attempts in this game, he just needs 1 or 2 to kind of break out a 10-yard run here, 10-yard run there. And he had a great game the last time that he played against the Seattle Seahawks. It was over in Germany, but he won the angry run, had a nasty stiff arm. So believe in Rachaad White. He's going to have a big game for this team. And my last prop bet for the Bucs is Emeka Egbuka. Fortunately, I'm going under on the receptions of his. It's 5.5 receptions. He's averaging around 4 receptions per game. He's going to garner all of the attention of the Seattle Seahawks, the same way that the Eagles did a pretty good job on Egbuka, with the exception of the scramble play where he started running deep and just made the catch. It almost got knocked away by Philadelphia, but with the exception of that big play, he was held a little bit under wraps. So I think Egbuka will garner a lot of the attention from the Seahawks. Will have an impact, should be helpful, could score a touchdown as he does almost every single week. I see him right around that 5-catch range mark. He hasn't had a total, gigantic volume of targets just yet. I know it's a homecoming game for him. I hope all the fans and his friends and family are able to. The Pewter Parlay again. It hit last week at plus 700, so we're going bigger and better this time around. Sticking with a lot of the picks we already had, so you can parlay Rachaad White over 49.5 rushing yards. I'm adding Baker Mayfield, the over on his rushing yards as well, because every week Baker is going to scramble, and he seems to hit this every single week. Baker over on his rushing yards. Godwin over on his receiving yards, but I'm also tacking on a Chris Godwin anytime touchdown. I'm telling you, folks, this is the breakout game for Chris Godwin Jr. And then the Emeka Egbuka receptions I was just talking about. Going under on that one. Okay, those are all my picks for Bucs versus Seahawks. A lot of player props. But again, when you go undefeated, you got to go even bigger the next time around. Make sure you tail that pewter parlay as well. Let's get to my NFL picks and my NFL pewter parlay. Just one more reminder to download the Splash Sports app using that QR code right there. Get in on all the different prize pools that they have and get your quick picks in for Bucs versus Seahawks. Looking around the rest of the NFL, starting off another international game. I'm taking the Browns plus 3.5 facing the Vikings. This is the first start for Dillon Gabriel. Browns have a great defense, and the Vikings are missing, I think, 4 out of 5 starters on the offensive line, plus Carson Wentz is your quarterback. Browns defense will keep them in the game. They find a way to cover, if not even win. My next pick is probably my favorite pick out of all the NFL. Jets versus Cowboys over 47. Neither team has a defense that can stop a nosebleed. Even the Jets offense that struggles a little bit, when you go up against the Cowboys, Garrett Wilson's going to be heavily involved. Justin Fields can scramble all over the place, and Dak Prescott is playing great. This game might get to 60 points by the time it's all said and done. Saints, I'm taking minus 1.5 against the Giants. The Saints have lost every game, but they have put up some good fights. They looked okay against the Bills last week, made it a game into the fourth quarter. The Giants are riding high off of Jackson Dart and what he did in his first career start. That was a huge win over the Chargers. There's no doubt about that. But no Malik Neighbors for the rest of the season. Unfortunately, he tore his ACL. That's going to hurt them for the entire season. He's a great player. I think the high of last week will kind of wear off, and the Saints end up getting their first win of the season. Dolphins at Panthers under 44.5. These are two atrocious offenses. The Dolphins now, especially without Tyreek Hill for the rest of the season. The Panthers seem to have regressed since their big win over the Falcons. I think this will be an ugly one. And the Chargers, I'm taking them to have a bounce-back win against the Commanders, even if Jaden Daniels is coming back. They have to be pissed off with how they played against the Giants a week ago. If you see the asterisk, Pewter Parlay is plus 265. I have the asterisk next to the Jets Cowboys over and the Chargers minus 3 over the Commanders, because those two are the two games you're taking for the Pewter Parlay at plus 265. Those are my picks for this week. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching this show. Bank accounts are raising high left and right from all these picks on Pewter Picks and Props. So make sure you tail them. Make sure you download the Splash Sports app. Get those quick picks in. I'm Matt Matera from PewterReport.com. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this show. And let's win some money. Out.